The examples below help show what different standard deviations look like. Each data set has a mean of 4, but different standard deviations. So if we look at this top left one, we can see that all 7 of the data items are 4, and that the standard deviation is 0. So if we look at the histogram, right, we can see that literally just all of those data items are 4. We just have that one bar. If we look at this next one on the right-hand side, we can see that we have 2 3s, 3 4s, and then 2 5s. So if we look at that histogram that still shows our frequency, we can see that the data is a little bit more spread out, right? It's still really close around that 4, but there's some 3s and some 5s. So that standard deviation there is 0.8. Right, that's telling us that our data items are usually less than 1 away from that 4. If we look down here, we have 3, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, and there our standard deviation is 1. So it looks similar to that last histogram we looked at, but this time there's more data items with 3 and 5, so it's a little bit more spread out. And then on this right-hand side, we have 1, 1, 1, 4, and 7, 7, 7. So the mean is still 4, but here our standard deviation is 3, and you can see that higher standard deviation. Here it's easier to see that that means the data is more spread out. So if we look at this example, they tell us that shown below are the means and standard deviations of the yearly returns on 2 investments from 1926 through 2004. We can see that investment in small company stocks gave us a mean yearly return of 17.5%, and a standard deviation of 33.3%. We can see that large company stocks had a mean yearly return of 12.4% and a standard deviation of 20.4%. In Part A, they're asking us which investment provided the greater yearly return. So if I look at the table, I can see that that phrase yearly return is used when they talk about the mean. So if I'm looking at which one had the greater yearly return, that's this one that had the 17.5% because that's the highest one. So we can say small company stocks. If we look at Part B, they're asking which investment had the greater risk. So if we look here, nothing in the table is talking about the risk, but we can think that when they're asking us about the risk, they're really asking us about how much it can vary. So they're asking us to look at the standard deviation, right? If it's low risk, it means that we're pretty much guaranteed, or at least a lot more likely, to get something close to the mean. But if it's risky, you could get something really high, but you could also get something really low, and that's where our standard deviation comes into play. So if we look at our standard deviation, we're looking for what had the greater risk, so we want the one with the larger standard deviation. That's this 33.3%. So the answer there is also the small company stocks.